Oh, you've heard of promo codes. But there is one promo code that will rule them all and get them 20% off and get you free shipping. Maybe even get you a Game 7 win. Can't guarantee the last one. It's Dangle. Manscaped.com. Look after yourself head to toe. Clean yourself up because tomorrow night it's Game 7, baby. Let's start the show.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Canada's Sportsbook.
Back at it.
SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
I want to know if you feel it. Do you feel it?
Yeah.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Do you feel the inevitability of Game 7?
Oh, well, I do now. I definitely do.
Has it sunk into your bones?
Deep into the marrow.
Yes. That's good. I know. Listen, I know you're up till like 3 a.m. doing the LFR. Steve, again, has no voice because, you know, when you're talking, yell and scream for 3.5 hours, that's what happens.
That's how it works. I literally had no voice by the end of the stream because the microphone did not work. And we were all very upset about that.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
Technical issues happen. It's what it is, but you did a great stream and it was fabulous. And you know what? The Leafs had a great game. That
was a marvelous hockey game. Like
on both sides. Like you could say the same thing about the Lightning. Great game.
Tightest game of the series. Fabulous hockey. Like it was awesome.
They had a great game besides a couple of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean,
listen.
The Leafs too.
Okay, so let's start from that because obviously it was kind of a grappling match. It was like it's like the beginning of like, you know, Olympic wrestling, not like WWE wrestling. Olympic wrestling where they just kind of lock in.
Yes.
And they're kind of feeling each other out a little bit.
That little smush.
I originally learned about Olympic wrestling through Kurt Angle, the fake wrestler, because he was the actual wrestler.
He won a gold medal.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was like, oh, wrestling's a thing in the Olympics. Me at 7 years old.
There was an Olympics where that was Canada's only gold, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Gali.
I remember him. I remember that very well. Yes, that's right. I think we were in school at that point. Now, let's talk about the game. And I think you start with this grappling match, and then you get the bad Kerfoot giveaway. You know, clearly TJ Brody is not in position. I think he was going off for a change.
He was going off for a change, and Kerfoot didn't realize.
And I think here's the thing. I saw Kerfoot do it a couple times afterwards too. There's a lot of trust on this team on where your players are going to be, where your teammates are going to be, and that's great. But you still have to look.
Yeah,
you still have to look. You got to look.
Yeah.
All he had to do was look.
I want to know how many times he makes that pass, and it's fine. We would never know.
99 out of 100.
Yeah, like that's. I have a hard time blaming it on anybody. Like I listen. That's going to drive a few people nuts. I know people are driving off the road right now at me saying that, but it's like you said. They've made that pass dozens, if not hundreds, of times this season, and didn't work that time.
And you know, I think at the end of the day, like I could forgive Kerfoot that. I think he's been a bit of a whipping boy in the past and became a little bit of one again last night because of what happened, because it was so obvious. But what's not obvious is the things that he does bring regularly, including helping to set up John Tavares for the second goal. Second goal.
And he had no equity. Almost had the game-winning goal.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to get off Twitter last night. Everyone was.
I think people are mad, right?
People also didn't like the penalty on top of that, the high stick.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The people were going. The refs were bullshit, and also Kerfoot cost us 2 goals.
Yeah.
No, you can't have both. You're allowed to have one. That's fine. Not allowed to have both.
Just let me just get this first before we get to that. I just want to get the timeline of the game here a little bit. Yeah. What did you guys think of the Cirelli goal? And then we're going to get into the high sticks. The Cirelli goal where he broke in, did the spinorama, and scored. Because I felt like, at least to me, I'm like, I feel like Jack needed to challenge him a little bit more on
No, that goal is such a high skill level play. That's an unbelievable goal. And if that's anybody else, we're sitting here like, oh my God, that's a top 10 playoff goal. Look at the magical move he made. If that's Mitch Marner doing a spinorama on the fly, going around a defenseman, sweeps it past the goaltender, we're making such a bigger deal of that. If that's Connor McDavid, that goes in as highlight reel. And people aren't giving Cirelli enough credit for just a high level skill play.
That's a talented young man.
Yeah.
That's the young man who I remember captaining the Oshawa Generals to a 2015 Memorial Cup win.
I think that's why I hate him, because he beat Connor McDavid. in the Erie Otters, did he not?
I think that's why I love him.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it was no question a high skill play on his, but I did think that Jack was caught coming back, and the thing is, he caught him in the goaltender danger zone, which is the piece between standing up and being down.
Yeah,
right. He caught him mid move, and when you watch the play, and this is the only thing, I don't want to take anything away from Cirelli. I think you're absolutely right, Jesse, but he's pulling back, and my thing is, had he pushed forward, I wonder if that cuts the angle a little bit and takes the net away.
It could. I mean, it's also in the same way that it's impossible to read a backhand. How do you
okay.
How do you read a spin through a man?
I don't know how you stop a guy doing a spinorama off of a rush.
It's a great shot.
Yeah,
It's
it's fantastic.
you're
I don't
fucking
blame
great
Jack
shot.
for any goal that happened last night. All four of them. I don't put the blame on Jack. He saved their asses in Game 5.
Oh, yeah.
The Leafs aren't even in this Game 6 situation where they can win it if it's not for Campbell. And Game 6, I don't really blame any of those goals on him.
So where it turned for the Leafs from these two goals, obviously, I guess we could get to the good part, which is the second period. It was awesome, right? You have two, mega important Tavares goals. I think we can stop saying that he can't play now, right?
He's had his two best games in Game 5 and Game 6.
Yeah. And Nylander, I mean, there was that icing that he didn't skate for, which I know annoys a little bit.
In Game 3 or whatever?
No. This past game. There was an icing where he literally let up, and he may not have known this, but he had the guy beat, and there was nobody on the other end that was going to beat him either. And he just sort of pulled up and let them have an icing. And so there's things like that drive people nuts. But I got to tell you, the best hockey I've seen him play has been the last couple of games as well.
Yep. Oh man.
Like that, his setup play to Tavares was incredible.
Well, and like, okay, so today is going to be a day of microanalyzing all the Leafs mistakes. Obviously, did Campbell challenge enough? Did Giordano do enough against Cirelli? Is Kerfoot an idiot? Is Brody an idiot? On the first goal, the Matthews goal that we glossed over, what the fuck is Braden Point doing? He has Matthews, and literally a second later lets him go.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's a Leaf, that's a $9.5 million player. He's supposed to be one of the team's stars.
Hasn't had a great series.
He hasn't had a great series. He's not
fuck. I think that's a good series if you're a OT winning goal.
No. That's one game. One game.
At the time of the goal, oh man, you really ruined it. But oh man, at the time of the goal, though, at the time of the goal,
John Cooper before the game said, "I need more out of him."
Yeah. And at the time of the goal, he needed even more out of him because he had Matthews off the faceoff, and it took him 1 second to lose him.
Mm-hmm.
So, my little joke off the top, it's a couple mistakes, and the Leafs made a couple too. It's true. It's true.
It's such a good point that that's something we would have hammered a Leaf for doing. The point is standing here where I'm sitting, and Matthews is next to him, and he's just looking the other way, and that's his man that he should be covering.
And he sees that Ryan McDonough has Mitch Marner and goes, "Oh, I think Ryan needs help.
I'm in no man's land, and I'm still going to do nothing."
Yeah, like maybe the better body matchup is to have McDonough on Matthews and Point on Marner, but like we're well past that, Braden. Like get it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then they allowed 2 goals in the final minute. They allowed 2 goals in like 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be killing the Leafs for
25
that.
seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Like we'd be killing. So they allow a goal, blown defensive assignment, less than a minute after taking a 2-0 lead. And then they allowed 2 goals in 25 seconds in the final minute of the second period. We would be burning the Leafs at the stake if that happened to them. And it was Tampa. Guys, this vision thing, I'm perhaps being playful with it, but this is not a bit. This team belongs here.
Mm-hmm.
This team is different. They belong in a Game 7 scenario in the same way that Tampa does. The Leafs, you could say, blew it. Tampa, we're down 3-2. This was the most even game of the series, followed by what I'm sure is going to be the most even game of the series.
So, obviously, in the third period, everything's going fine until about 10 minutes to go. Leafs take a couple rough penalties. The first one, a lot of people are complaining about this morning because they say Hedman sold it, right? It hit his shoulder, not his face.
No, foot.
Oh, foot sold it.
Yeah,
Foot.
Hedman was the second one. Kerfoot.
Yeah, so we'll start with the foot penalty. I don't know, man. To me, that's a high stick.
Yeah.
It hits him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
It still hits him in the shoulder.
See, okay, so there's some confusion there. Is that a penalty? Not should it be? I think I can meet you in maybe it should be.
Yeah.
But like a high stick, well, a stick to the shoulder.
Never seen it called.
Well, and also the foot.
He sold it.
Head back. He absolutely sold it. But like we had a penalty for embellishment earlier in the game, and I think the ref was afraid to call another one.
I don't think he saw it at all. I think it took.
Well, then he shouldn't have called it.
It took like a split-second replay.
It took everybody slowing down the video frame by frame by frame to see that it hit his shoulder. I didn't know it hit his shoulder until I think partway through intermission when they did the replay. Like during the game, they didn't even do that.
I think Omar had it. TikTok Omar had it on his.
I don't check Twitter during the game. I try not to.
No, good.
No. I definitely can't. I am less inclined to blame the referee and more inclined to say shame on Calfoot. But I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, and he was trying.
Right. He got away with one, and good for him, because from the angle where the ref is, it looks like it hit him in the face. And how do you not call that if it looks like a stick hit a guy in the face?
Bunting was fined for embellishment earlier this season, and I expect the same announcement to come down for Foot. And if it doesn't, then what the fuck are we doing here?
That's a good point.
Then of course you've got
not that he cares.
then you got the Kerfoot penalty, which I think the argument can stand that literally Hedman does it to himself. And I get that. I mean, BX has said in the intermission, which I know you didn't catch, Steve. He said you're still responsible for your stick.
Yep.
I don't know what the actual rules are on that, but to me, it's like, I mean, what's the ref supposed to do? Like, listen, I have no faith in NHL refereeing. You know that. But in a split-second move, I mean, what else is he supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, me watching the stream and calling it, I saw it happen, and there was this, 2 or 3 seconds that took 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, he hit him in the face. It's a penalty. Are they going to call it? And they did.
The Kevin BX did make a really good point, too, on that play. He said, listen, the high stick issue never even needed to happen. Kerfoot, he said that Kerfoot got...
He's in the offensive zone.
He's in the offensive zone. You're already killing a penalty. And he said all he needed to do was chip it behind or back off. Just back off and get back out towards the hash marks and contain the play. It's all you need to do. He's like, I understand you want to push. But he said, ultimately, there was no real need to do that. You could have flipped it up behind and would have been no problem. And you back off and there's no issue.
And this team is different from last year. So this is the only comparison that I want to make to last year because it's too eerie. For the second consecutive year in a game 6 with a chance to eliminate, the Leafs go down 5-3 in the third period. How the hell?
Yeah. How the hell? Yeah, I think that's fair.
And like 2 needless ways to go down 5-on-3. Marner sends it over the glass against Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
Kerfoot takes a high sticking call on one of the tallest players in the league in the offensive zone. Guys, can't happen.
Can't happen. And that's the thing, is that it doesn't matter whether or not it should have been a penalty. It can't happen. And so obviously then Kucherov scores. The game's pretty even until the end. And then, of course, the Leafs come out and outshoot the Lightning 9-5 in overtime. Mm-hmm. But things did, you could tell, man, they were tired. Like both teams, right? The passes got sloppy. Mm-hmm. They were missing left, right, and center. Even the zone exits were bad.
The
zone
amount
intros,
of guys who hit toe picks. Matthews had 2. Tavares had 1. Point had 1. Hedman had 1. Like everybody was just sloppy and falling. They were really tired.
100%.
Brandon Hagel, who I think assisted on the overtime winner, spent more time like on the ice than on his skates.
Yeah.
In that entire game.
Also, he missed a wide open net.
Oh my God.
Like when he went to the bench, his head was in his hands. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, man.
You should see my call.
Oh, yeah?
It's literally just 15 seconds of silence. Because I'm like,
how is this not over?
Mm-hmm.
How isn't this over? He was right there.
I started workshopping names for what we were going to call that play if the Leafs won it. So
the Hagel Bagel?
The Hagel Bagel was what I was going with because he missed everything. Or is it either the Hagel Bagel or the Hagel Hook? Because he hooked it wide right.
Oh.
There's something...
Would have been good golf analogy there.
Right?
He's going to go... He would have been golfing.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
And it's Florida. Great golfing.
There's something there with locks. Like locks Bagel. Like he had it locked. Like he had it. No, there's
Are we
something there.
Are we going too deep with this?
No, we're not going deep enough.
You know, sometimes you cross the line of.
He tried to go cream cheese, and he missed it. He missed the cream cheese.
And then he turned salmon pink.
Oh,
because he was embarrassed.
Hey,
Anyway, so
he had a sesame seeing eye shot. We'll figure it out.
like a bagel, he missed everything.
Oh, hey.
Now that was good, right?
Everything bagel. Hey, okay, we brought it back.
Thank you. Brought it back. Brought it back. So, you know,
Shot had too much poppy. Sorry.
Jesse, you make a good point about catching edges, toe picks and stuff, because that's what happened. Matthews catches a toe pick or an edge or whatever it was, falls over, and a seemingly harmless play turns into a 5-on-4 very quickly. And I have to give full credit to Tampa. Whenever the Leafs would dump and chase, they would ring it back out and fly right back down the zone. The Leafs cannot dump and chase against this team. They never catch them in time to cycle it.
But what happened on that play, it's all because Matthews falls down.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you like, I isolated the screenshot where it's Marner on Hagel, Justin Hall goes to like basically pinch him off. That's what the Leafs were doing all night. Like that's their structure, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tampa was, I thought they had more offensive zone time than the Leafs, but it was the Leafs kept them to the outside. Out of danger. Tampa would throw it in the slot. Leafs would dismiss it. But because Matthews isn't there to filter in, Giordano's left alone. Bunting was obviously too far behind the play to make up for Matthews. And what I don't see enough Leaf fans talking about this morning, surprisingly, is Bunting probably clears that puck off the line if it isn't for Hall's stick.
Yeah.
I don't even blame Hall, but
it's just, you know, bad placement, right? It happens. And you know what? Justin Hall had a great stick earlier in the game. It's not like...
Remember, he had a great game.
He had a great game.
Great 2
Who
games.
was on the breakaway that Justin Hall caught him?
Wasn't it Kucherov or something?
Yeah. Justin Hall caught a guy on a breakaway.
On a one-handed backhand, got him. I don't know how he did it.
I
he was great.
Fantastic.
He's been great.
He looks like last year's Justin Hall in all those games against Edmonton.
Doing spinoramas in OT.
Yeah.
No, that's the other guy.
Yeah.
He's not around anymore.
So what are the takeaways from this game? I have some stuff written down here. And so here's the deal. Like, you know, no offense to Tampa's crowd at all here, but I think of the two crowds, the Leafs crowd's louder. And I think that's okay, because I think Tampa at this point, it's like, we've done this.
I think
we're excited, but
we
won
Tampa's
2 cups in a
crowd
row.
is more split.
Yeah, maybe there's more Leaf fans in there.
There's a lot of Leaf fans down there.
You do hear soup chants.
The TSN Instagram, I think it was, they had like a cut of all the Leaf fans in the building doing chants. It was spectacular to see.
Jesse, who do you think does a better job on Instagram now that we have... I'm kidding.
Hey, guys, I am too tired for this shit. I cannot keep up.
So I think the Leafs crowd, which has been bananas lately, and I don't think listen, you can say what you want about the regular season crowd. I don't think anybody has anything to say about how the Leafs crowd has been in this playoffs. This is not like any Leafs crowd you've ever seen before. They've been loud. I mean, God, we saw it. They literally forced a ref to call a penalty.
When was the last time the Leafs had a Game 7 in front of a full building in Toronto?
Because the last few have all been Tampa. Or not Tampa, Boston.
And pandemic.
And
so
Montreal.
last year it was at home, but it was
Yeah.
in front of like 500 people.
And then
And
before
Columbus was pandemic.
Columbus was pandemic.
and
So
the two
it's-
Bostons were in Boston.
Yes, so it's been literally...
God, it's better be
It honestly might be since the last time they won a series,
Ottawa.
which is Game 7 against Ottawa in 2004. That's
And
the
I don't
last
even
time
know
the
if-
Leafs had a Game 7.
I don't even know if that
home.
particular Leafs team beat Ottawa that year in the regular season. Because there was a lot of
They
years
were
where the
1
Leafs
and 7, I think.
they would like squeak in to like 6th or 7th place, those Leafs teams, right? The Sundin Leafs teams. Sometimes they'd be, you know, top half-ish of the playoff teams, but sometimes they'd be like, yeah, we're like 5th and whatever, and we're here. 5th in the conference when conferences mattered.
I don't remember which year it was, but there was a year where I think Ottawa was 2, Toronto was 7, and the Leafs record against Ottawa was 1 and 7.
And
they swept them.
They swept them. Yeah. So that might be it. It might have been 2004, 6,500 days ago.
Good Lord.
It's a long time. I think you have to feel good about how the Leafs played in Game 6 overall. Like, this is the defending Stanley Cup champions. This is the best goalie in the world. Sorry, New York. He is.
Consistently.
He consistently is. Who's going to argue that?
How about CJ with the tweet? The Leafs have hung at least 3 goals on Vasilevsky every game of this series.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
You can't waste this, guys.
So, and I understand some complaints about officiating, but I honestly...
Well, the Killorn hold on Matthews.
Yeah, they got to call that.
It's egregious.
They got to call.
It's wakeboarding. You don't call holding, you call wakeboarding.
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable.
The only thing that bothered me was that the consistency of the calls changed from
5 to 6.
5 to 6 to 6 to OT. Like there's in the last 7 periods, there's literally 3 different kinds of ways the refs have been calling the game. And I think for the sake of the players, you just need to stick to one. Like if you're going to call everything, call everything. If you're going to let the guys play, you got to let them play and stick with that throughout the game and throughout the series.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's unfair to the coaches and unfair to the players.
Yep. I agree.
Like I understand, letting them go a little bit, but you got to call the obvious ones, and that's what they did in the third. Yeah, high sticks. All right, shoot, we got to call that. You got to call Killorn.
Yeah,
you got to call Killorn.
Mm-hmm.
But they changed from the third to OT. I don't know why.
Changed
the refs.
They shut it off. That's changing is like the new standard. They didn't change the standard. They shut the standard off.
Mm-hmm.
The standard is we're not calling anything. That's not changing. That's punching out early. Like the refs should get no overtime for that game. They clocked out and went home early. And listen, I'm not going to hate on them. I used to listen when it rained at the zoo. I got to go home early. I didn't get paid for the full day. They shouldn't either.
So I guess I'm gonna same questions for you guys that I had before Game 1. If the Leafs are going to win on Saturday, what has to happen?
Doing what they did in Game 6, baby. Doing what they did in Game 6. Being slippery, getting away from guys, floating good ones on from the point, which the Leafs were very cautious of. They were very calculated in the opportunities that they put on from the points.
But they did get a couple slap shots in, which was cool.
They did, and Giordano with the floater leading to the Matthews goal.
Yes.
But more often than not, the Leafs were more willing to go to the outside or drive the net instead of putting it on from the point, because Tampa guards the point very well. They look for a block that they can turn into an opportunity going the other way. And just as good as the Leafs' attention to detail has been in the series, it's got to be even better. That first goal in particular, that's a difference in the game. I'll even give you the Cirelli one. It's got to be the difference in the game. Campbell's got to be sharp. He can't allow the worst goal of the series to open the game like he did in Game 7. That did happen. I thought he was great against Montreal, but that was the worst goal that either goalie let in that series. Matthews has to show up. I trust he will. He did in Game 6. Marner has to show up. I trust he will. He did in Game 6. John Tavares has to show up. I trust he will. He did in Game 6. And William Nylander, Game 6 I thought was his best game. It's got to be every shift. Not a single one off. If you don't know if it's icing, if you don't know if this, if that, Willie's got to learn to run every 100-meter race like it's 110.
Well, it's like in baseball, right? You're not sure, just run it out.
Yes.
And even if you are sure, run it out anyway because they might fuck it up.
And I don't have a ton of notes. Like that, they were great. That was a great game. The Leafs played a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were the better team.
So
it's tight. Really tight.
So Natalie and I obviously watched, and she woke up this morning and she said, "Boy, that must have been really hard." And I said, I actually feel really, really good about where this is. I think they're going to win. And I said it on the radio this morning. I really believe this Leafs team is going to win. And I believe that this Leafs team, I think this is the best Leafs team I've seen in my lifetime. I mean that. More complete than the 93, 94 teams.
Shows how good Tampa is.
Yeah, 100%. Tampa's incredible. And I think that I actually, because last year, I'm not going to lie, what happened against Montreal really hurt. Really stung. And it took me a bit the beginning of the season to love this again. And
that's how good this team is.
Yeah.
The fact that we're here and saying what we're saying.
It's incredible. And the fact that they're taking Tampa to 7 games, that I think they're going to win. I really, truly in my soul believe they're going to win. I think they're the better team this series anyway. And anyway, so Natalie, the reason I brought her up is that she felt really bad for all of us. So she brought us donuts instead of us having to have a donut.
Hey.
Look at the size
These
of
are from
these.
Glory
We
Hole.
all win the bet.
Glory Hole Donuts in Toronto. There's 2
That's
locations.
free advertising.
It is, but it's it's female owned business and it's local. I figured it's no big deal. And anyway, you should check it out. So they're known for these ones. I guess they're I don't even know what they are. But Natalie said we were known for these ones. That's a Ferrero Rocher. That's a basically like a crusty one.
Simpsons.
Yeah, Simpsons. So we each get 2. So you don't have to eat it now. I'm assuming that our listeners don't want us to eat it now. But how good do those look? Come on. Anyway, now.
Those are all the size of my fist.
So we all think, Jesse, I have to ask, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, what's that?
Do you believe?
Yeah, I believe the Leafs can get it done.
Do you believe
If
they will
everything-
get it done?
If everything Steve says comes to fruition, they'll do it. There's so many instances where they've been the better team, and there's a real chance that they can do it. I think the theme here for me this series has been the penalty situation for both sides, really. And
Yep.
whoever it might come down to whoever doesn't take the dumb penalty.
Okay, yeah.
Those are the only ones that are going to be called. You're going to get I think we might be lucky to see 1 penalty called per period. If the Leafs take 1 in the first, Tampa will get 1 in the second, and we might get 1 in the third.
Yeah,
but
I think
doubt it.
I think the refereeing will look like the overtime refereeing, or at least the third period one.
Okay.
You know?
They're going to ask a couple guys to dress up in black and white and skate around. That's about it.
Stay out of the box because the Leafs have been the better team at 5-on-5.
The only thing they're going to call is
And 4-on-4.
like obvious holds, obvious high sticks.
They're not calling obvious holds.
No,
Obvious high sticks, yeah.
the clutching and grabbing has been like rampant.
Yeah.
At the end of that game.
I think that might change.
Well, and like, I'm not going to bellyache and be like, oh, the refs. Because what's funny about the Killorn clip holding Matthews is if you look behind him, I don't remember who the defenseman was, but Michael Bunting just throws him to the ice.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the Leafs put it on and Bunting tips it in and scores. Like Tampa's screaming bloody murder.
100%.
Also, if Matthews is getting held like that, then that's how the game's being called, and Bunting better go out and hold other guys. Just compete how they're competing, compete in the structure of the game, whatever narrative the refs want to write, and then win in those situations. The Leafs have the ability to get it done.
Yeah.
They do. I also believe. Steve, do you believe?
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
Leafs in 7.
There we go. Okay. Now the question is, how does the betting world feel about this? Because, you can understand, given how the last 6 seasons have gone, how they might, maybe not. So we're going to get into You Can Bet That. But before we do, as always, we ask you, please game responsibly. 19 plus always. And you can find great responsible gaming strategies in the link, wherever, like the description link, wherever you get your podcast or on this video. Let's get into it. All right, You Can Bet That with David Bastl. Obviously, there's one question, David, but first I have to say, go to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN for all your needs. Before game, in game, and obviously listening to this segment. David, I think the thing that we need to know is we've talked about the Leafs. We know what's going to happen tomorrow night. Do they have a shot according to you?
No, I think they do, actually. They are the favorites at Sports Interaction right now. You can get them at about 1.85, somewhere in that range. But it's really neck and neck. And you know what? And it makes sense. It's a game 7. 50-50. People are going, yeah, the Leafs can finally do it. And then the other side is saying, oh, it's a game 7. And, I'm getting kind of tired of that narrative of not winning a game 7. I think this is a completely different team than any of the teams in the past. So, but something to think about here, guys. Home team in this series is 4-2. That favors the Leafs. First team to score, 5-1. So get on the board first. Don't let the Lightning score first. You're on home ice. I don't know. I'm looking at it as a positive for Saturday night.
Leafs aren't really good at that. Waking up at the beginning of the game,
guys.
thing.
I don't know. I prefer
Jesse,
when
quiet.
we gift wrap the Islanders 2 goals in a game. Or not the Islanders, the Lightning.
Yeah.
Twice.
I mean, I'm sure they've done it with the Islanders.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. David, do you want to tell us about the huge you put your flag in the ground before last night's games? Can you tell us about the bet you made?
Well, you know what? Out of all the series too, because I know we joked about this, at the beginning of the first round, where the toughest series is going to be Minnesota and St. Louis. So stay away from it. And of course, here I go thinking, okay, Minnesota is going to force a game 7. Oh. It's funny though. I never told you guys this. I did say Boston will force this a game 7. I check mark that.
Nice.
So I was 1 for 2 on my bet, but you know what? You can't be 1 for 2 if you're betting a parlay, right? You need to go 2 and 2. And then Minnesota. And you know what? Praise Cam Talbot. Because I mean, the guys played just as often as I have for the Minnesota Wild in the month of May, and that's 0 until yesterday.
You give a guy 3 weeks off, and then you throw him into an elimination
against a former Stanley Cup champion. Well, David, you sure did make a bet.
Yeah, but that was your guy,
David. You can bet that. The rest of us wouldn't.
Vegas, Minnesota. Can we get the Marc-Andre Fleury's resume?
Yeah, really. Hey, David, thank you so much. As always, go to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, at SIA Sport, and at David Bastl on Twitter as well.
Enjoy game 7.
Oof. Gonna be good. Do you know the 5 steps to being a man?
Be
a clean man, that is.
Be Adam Wilde.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
That's not step 1?
Well, listen, I might use these 5 steps, but you want to lather on the new ultra premium Manscaped body wash with aloe vera and sea salt. Ooh. Then you want to apply the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, which Steve uses and smells great. And I only use your head as an example because I walked by you once and you smelled great. Number 3, hop out of the shower, protect yourself with Manscaped aluminum-free deodorant.
Also use that.
Step 4, if you have tattoos or you like me and you have dry skin, use the hydrating body moisturizer spray that's infused with the power of red algae from the Pacific Ocean. And number 5, apply the Manscaped lip balm that has a matte finish so your lips can look good but not shiny. You want to be plump, but maybe not shimmer. Plump. All I'm saying is you should go to manscaped.com and use that promo code. What is it?
Dangle?
Dangle! That's right. 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Dangle. Manscaped.com.
I know, right? Are you unsure of the promo code?
It's a bit!
20% off and free shipping. Promo code Dangle at manscaped.com. It is time to get clean. Our next partner, pretty cool product, Athletic Greens. You've heard us talk about it before. We're talking about better gut health, more energy, stronger immune system, really easy, natural way to get the vitamins that you need. And, it's one of those things where, especially as you, Jesse doesn't know what this is like, but as you get older, as you get into your mid-30s, you start to think about your health.
I'm like 3 years younger.
You start looking down the hallway at the colonoscopy that's waiting for you at 40 years old, and you go, how do I help that? Athletic Greens is how you help that, okay? So, it's lifestyle-friendly, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. Contains less than a gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, and no artificial anything. And tastes good.
Colonoscopy.
Well, it's important. You got to think about that. Now, right now, it's time to reclaim your health all over your body.
We should do a live colonoscopy on the show.
We shouldn't. No. Radio people have done that for generations, and they need to stop. Yes.
Oh, my God.
They need to stop. Make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SDP. Again, athleticgreens.com/SDP to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate nutritional insurance. So I don't want to start with last night right away because there's a couple of series I do want to talk about. And the gong show that is the Rangers and Pens is chief among them. Obviously, they're going to play for Game 6 tonight to see if it goes to Game 7. Huge Ranger comeback. You thought... I follow a few Rangers fans and Ryan Mead especially, who has a great podcast. Basically, they're like, okay, our season's over after the first period. Not so much.
Nope. And yet another one for them. And God, sorry, my voice is hanging on.
That's okay. That's why we're gonna have to give it a little short today to save your voice.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen 3-1 comeback between these two. But I feel like in Pittsburgh's going to find a way to close it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I have Pittsburgh getting it done here, but like my heart is breaking for Sidney Crosby.
Because of the hit?
The Trouba hit, and they not disclosing what it is, but it's been kind of outside reported that it's a concussion.
I mean,
and Sidney Crosby's
seems fairly obvious.
Concussion history. He's not going to be at Game 6. Like they've already ruled him out. That came down this morning.
I thought Mike Sullivan said he was fine.
No, he's not playing tonight.
Oh my god!
So Crosby's out with a concussion. I just hope that how many chances do him and Malkin have left? You know, and like if one of these final chances is derailed by another concussion, like that just makes me sad as a hockey fan. He's the best player in the playoffs right now. He's leading everybody in points. He was the most energetic I've seen Sidney Crosby in years, and it's a shame that Trouba's hit is taking him out here.
What did you guys think of the hit?
He hit him in the head, man.
I want to show you guys this because this is the backwards angle.
Sure.
I just want to show you this, and I want to get do you want me to send this to you, Jesse, so we can throw it up on the screen?
You don't have to hit a player in the head to give them a concussion.
Of course not. But I just want to I want you guys to see this because I think it's important to at least look at it. Because to me, I'm not so sure, and I'm not trying to be, you know me, I'm very much get rid of the headshots in the game. But I would say that you can get a concussion from your neck snapping back, right?
I can be convinced.
And I want to know what you guys think of this. And Jesse, it would be we're probably looking about 3-4 seconds into this video where the hit starts, and it's in the top right-hand corner if you've got it. I just texted it to you.
I texted.
And essentially, the angle that we all saw was the angle where you see Trouba's numbers. The angle I'm going to show you, if you haven't seen it on Twitter yet, and I think Frank Saravalli had a good breakdown on this too, is Sidney Crosby's numbers. And I think you get a clearer picture, potentially, from this side, whether or not he actually hit him in the head.
That's interesting.
You have to keep talking.
So, you know what?
Sorry, yeah.
You know what?
Do you see,
you might be right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Now, listen, there is a shoulder, and his head does snap, but if you look at where his skates are, he has literally no leverage on the ice. His body's wide open, which, unfortunately, when you get hit like that, your neck's going to snap. And
the elbow, listen.
Does the elbow hit him in the head?
No, a lot of people's opinions, including mine, I'll be honest, with these hits can be influenced by what makes it around social media. And the image of Trouba's elbow coming up is awful.
It is, because it looks like it's like when you look at this. Here's the image of Trouba's elbow, right?
That looks horrible.
I've always believed
it looks like he tried to decapitate.
The hit was accidental.
Well, and Frege did make a good point, Jesse. You're absolutely right. Where Trouba, if you're worried about intent, Trouba does reach for the puck here.
Yeah,
I don't think he was. I don't think Trouba was headhunting Crosby. No, I don't believe that. This is an accidental play that's resulted in the worst result.
I don't know if it was even, because the thing is, I'm part of the group that would be willing to look at if you hit somebody in the head, doesn't kind of like with a high stick, right? Doesn't matter if you meant to or not, penalty box, right?
Well, and
just to get it out of the game as much as you can.
The other thing I was going to say, but I guess this isn't really the time because I mean that's not what happened here. You know how like if a hit glances off of a different body part first, let's say the shoulder, and then you hit the guy in the head. I think there will come a time where they call that as well. Like you got to be responsible for your stick. Why don't you got to be responsible for that?
For your elbow, for your shoulder, for anything.
Right?
Yeah. So it's easier to be.
There is going to come a time for that. But on this one, that reverse angle there, it looks like he just catches him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's really
I'm not saying that he doesn't hit him at some point, like where it doesn't hit his head, but I'm not so sure the snapback from Crosby, the initial snapback, is from a hit to the head.
Well, and don't forget, it wasn't just the concussion with Crosby. It was an undiagnosed neck issue. As well. So that could definitely be it.
And that would exacerbate that.
100%.
So Rangers, Pens, and listen, the NHL is just not as good. Forget the series. The NHL is not as good without Crosby in it. So we wish him the best, and I hope there's a Game 7 and he's back for it.
Why don't we talk about the second most important thing of this series?
Shesterkin?
Somebody's a fake.
Who's a fake, Jesse?
Somebody's a big fat phony. The old Family Guy clip. You're a phony.
A big fat phony.
Me?
Igor Shesterkin.
Why are you?
You're not in the Pens Rangers.
I was just like, what? Oh, you mean he's a fraud?
Adam, who?
Like
no,
the Panthers.
he's a phony.
Yeah, he's a phony. Why is he a phony?
Where are you? Where's the Igor Shesterkin that just got nominated for a Hart Trophy?
So, sorry, what'd you say?
I want to see Igor steal a game here for the Rangers. Well, I don't want to see that because I've picked the Pens, but I hope the Pens close it out in Game 6. But if you're a Rangers fan, you should be really asking the question about, hey, why is our Hart-nominated goalie failing at the most important time of the year?
How about this? Maybe Cinderella's turning into a pumpkin, and the defense needs to pull their fucking weight on this team.
Yeah, I gotta say, the one thing when watching these games is I have not been impressed with Adam Fox.
Cinderella's turning into a pumpkin. That's not even close to what happens in the story.
Well, the carriage turns into a pumpkin, though.
Yeah,
we got what you meant.
I'm tired.
It's okay.
Cinderella turned into a holy fuck. Can you just imagine? And everyone's just like, Jesus Christ! I would watch that remake.
that witch,
Kill me!
that witch is fucked up. That witch has got a sick sense of humor. I think I want Adam Fox stepping up. You're gonna have to play better team defense. You're gonna have to be better. The forwards are gonna have to be better around him. But yeah, it's concerning when you've pulled him already.
How about so Marc-Andre Fleury?
What? Yeah, the Wild.
No, wait.
Okay.
Marc-Andre Fleury, the Wild paid a lot for him. Didn't use him in an elimination game, so I don't know why you went out and got him. Andrew Kopp has been a great deadline acquisition for the New York Rangers. He's got 3 goals in that series already. So
yeah, absolutely.
Look for him to be big in Game 6 because he's been big so far.
And to put out some hope for Rangers fans, after Crosby went out in Game 5, the Pens melted. Like they didn't have it. And I don't know if the Crosby injury is what caused it, but they were just awful in that third period. And Malkin is lucky that he wasn't getting suspended there for a cross check that rode up on the face.
Vicious player. I told you before the playoffs, man. Vicious player.
For a guy that was just suspended, I'm surprised that there isn't a bigger deal being made of that.
That's interesting.
If Kenny Malkin's name was Chucky McFourth-line Goon, he would have been out of the league a long time ago.
What is his name?
Chucky McFourth-line Goon?
Kyle McClifford.
Kyle McClifford, yeah. Sure.
The Capitals blew it against the Florida Panthers. It was 3-0. Twice. In game 4, they had an empty net to go up 3-1 versus the Florida Panthers, the President's Trophy, and they didn't hit the empty net. And now all of a sudden it's 3-2 for Florida. I don't want to take things away from Florida because I do think they're a very good team.
Sure.
But I also think the Capitals are far closer to the Florida Panthers than any of us thought.
Oh, way closer. Way.
Like in skill. No question.
100%. I loved Elliot Friedman talking about the Leafs the past couple of years. Like just going, I want to see if this like just nonsense style, I want to see if it can work. I want to see if they can do it. That's the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. They're nonsense.
Goofy nonsense is not supposed to work. And it's got them on the brink of the second round.
Pretty
Barely.
Cool.
Barely.
If they go on a deep run here, we look at that as the way we look at what was the Team Canada? It was the women's game where they missed the empty net and then they went on to force it in overtime.
Sochi.
In Sochi? Yeah. So if the Panthers here go to the Stanley Cup final or something, we're gonna look back at this first round series and say they were down 3-0 in the middle of the second. Yeah. They had an empty net that they had to score a 6-on-5 goal, and we're gonna say it's been a magical run.
There's a Twitter account you guys should follow, and it's Caps
Steve
things,
_Dangle.
Well, that one's good, but Caps things or Caps events that precede or Caps that preceding unfortunate events, and they just said 3-0, and it sucks. And like the other thing about that series that is absolutely blowing my mind is the fact that I forgot Giroux was a Panther. And I'm like, man, like this team it's stacked up front, absolutely stacked. So dumb. And on paper, you do think, man, they should probably have rolled the Capitals already. But
Carter Verhaeghe had a 5-point playoff game.
He's been crazy.
Wyshynski said that if we were doing early Conn Smythe voting, it's way too early Conn Smythe. Carter Verhaeghe's got to be in there.
Add that to the list of things Leaf fans will suddenly be mad about if Saturday doesn't go well.
Carter Verhaeghe didn't even make the NHL till like 4 years after they traded him.
Adam, I didn't say they'd be right.
Oh,
it's like the Trevor Moore nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, slip that in there.
Also, Tom Wilson lists Caps.
Dude.
That's tough.
Yeah, this series should be long over.
But it's not. The
It's
Caps
not.
are hanging around.
No offense, Caps fan. I'm sure you thought the same thing.
And for any Leaf fan, by the way, who's like, well, if it doesn't get done this year, then fuck it. Look at the Caps. Whether they get like they got it done. They got it done. They've been to several conference finals, several quarterfinal, advanced past the quarterfinals several times, and they continue to do this. And look at them. They're old. They're supposed to be busted. They're supposed to be not as good. And they're playing the NHL's number one team that beat them by 26 points in the regular season or something like that, or
That's
22.
so many points.
And they're like, they should have won this already.
Man.
So the next one I want to talk about, and it's because it's a complete fucking non-story, is Calgary beating Dallas by 2 goals.
Whoa!
Which I think is the first time that happened this series.
Barn.
I think Calgary figured it out like midway through that second period. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, we kind of know how to beat Dallas now. Is kind of what I got from their play, and I was like, okay, this series, I don't think Dallas is a real threat anymore. Ottinger might steal another game, force it to game 7.
Maybe.
Maybe if he stands on his head, but
How much more special can he be?
right, that's
He
the
can't-
thing.
Score.
Imagine.
Maybe.
The Stars are so decidedly mediocre on offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's painful.
Yeah.
If they had one more guy who, like, it's okay, shut down Ben, shut down Sagan, and make sure Pavelski's tied up in front of the net.
Well, this is the problem, right? Like, I think, Hintz, Robertson, they got guys. Guryanov, Jeff Merrick calls him one of the most frustrating players in the league. Like, he's just got this special skill that you rarely see him use. The sort of player I'm sure the media would kill here. But Ben and Sagan, those are 2 great players with busted hips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think possibly with an off season to recover, the Dallas Stars could come back and be a machine next year. Or the sun is setting on those 2 careers.
I took a picture of my TV because I wanted to show you guys this.
Oh
during the
my
game.
God.
I think.
All right, Jesse. Okay, so what we're seeing right now is a board that Jesse put up from Tim and Friends.
No, it was from. That's just an advertisement. It was
Oh.
from the Sportsnet Central after the Calgary Flames.
Oh, okay.
game.
So this is the total amount of goals scored in each series. So Pens Rangers 42, Lightning Leafs 37, blah blah blah, all the way down at the bottom. Stars Flames 18. They trail the next lowest, which is a 4-game series between the Avs and Preds by 12 goals.
That's over. They're
It's
trailing
over.
the series. That's over.
They stopped playing 5 days ago.
Oh,
So
my
again,
God.
What a
that's
snore.
total goals scored for the series. Pens Rangers is the most at 42. This is as of Thursday morning. Pens Rangers 42. Then we go to Preds Avalanche at 30. They're the second least goals scored. And then at 18 is Stars Flames.
that's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Right?
That's such
I
a
was
crazy
shocked.
visual. That's so crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. 18. Honestly, I'm surprised it's that high.
Just absolutely no offense from either team.
Yep.
But then the Calgary Flames have been like, okay, we can put up like 3 goals and we'll win.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, listen, that doesn't mean these games don't have intensity. Get off my television. Give us the Flames back. Holy shit.
The next Flames round is going to be great if it happens.
It's a game in their series and a game in the Oilers series away from a Battle of Alberta.
How do you beat Metapod? You set him on fire.
You set him on fire because fire does well against bug type.
Exactly. Lastly on this series, I meant to actually hit this. I don't know why I went right to the Rangers after you can bet that, but I meant to start with the
You
Oilers.
love that series.
Oilers absolutely gutsy performance against LA. Obviously they had no Darnell Nurse.
Mhm.
Kane with another 2. He's got 7 goals this series.
Yeah.
They're going to game 7. That was Connor McDavid at his absolute best. And the only reason I don't include Leon Draisaitl in that is because he literally was hobbling around and still played great.
Yep. And, we complain about that Alex Killorn hold on Austin Matthews.
Ooh.
Archer Kaliev, like he's playing Threes Eliminator in Shell, just completely obliterates
It was accidental.
puckless Connor
It was
McDavid.
accidental.
Jesse, stop
It
it.
was accidental.
Jesse,
they were both going across the middle of the ice. It was
No.
accidental. He didn't know. He didn't see Connor McDavid there.
Jesse, you
It was
stop it.
accidental. I believe him.
Right now, you're at LA King's plant.
Yeah,
You're a
so-
secret agent.
So whatever.
So whatever.
When did Bergevin get to you?
I got a complaint about the game. The game-winning goal, McDavid to Draisaitl, the Tyson Barrie with a wrist shot that Jonathan Quick should stop 10 out of 10 times. How dare you cost the game? He cost the Kings the game with 3 minutes to go by allowing a Tyson Barrie wrister to go past his blocker. That's inexcusable.
Do you go to Cal Peterson for game 7?
You could never. We'll get to Minnesota doing nonsense like that.
Well, why don't we get to Minnesota doing nonsense? Why did they go with Cam Talbot over Marc-Andre Fleury? Marc-Andre Fleury was, listen, I know he hasn't been great in the playoffs, but he was 9-1 when he got there.
Yeah, guys, what are you doing?
You're overthinking it.
You're way overthinking it. And I don't understand how 2 different teams and 2 different coaches make that mistake in back-to-back years.
Yeah, can you remind people what happened last year?
Well, the Vegas Golden Knights went to Robin Lehner didn't they flip-flop several times? Wasn't it like Fleury, Lehner?
And Fleury had the best statistical season of his career, I think, and also won the Vezina.
And he was great. He did cost them game 3 with the misplay behind the net in a game where he was otherwise great. And it's not like Lehner was bad, but I mean, depending on who's in net, it does change your style even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what the point of that is. And if I'm Bill Guerin, I never need to shave again because I pulled out all my hair from the root.
Mm-hmm.
I paid all of that for Marc-Andre Fleury for you to play Cam Talbot. Dean, what the fuck?
Well, do you not think, like Bill Guerin, if he finds that out, he can tell Dean Evison, you're not actually.
I mean, he can try. He can certainly try. And who knows, maybe he was in on the decision. Maybe he approved of it. But I don't, that's a tough one. And now, the funny angle of all this, I'm not.
Is there a funny angle?
There is. I'm not going to bask in the Minnesota Wild being eliminated. I don't hate them. Chuck Fletcher's gone. He is. It's gone.
So now you hate the Flyers. You can't hate the Flyers. They're so bad. You got to feel bad for their fans.
I feel bad for their fans. Every mistake Chuck Fletcher makes is funny.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fair. I think
guilty
that's
about
fair.
it.
I think that's fair.
It's in the same way that I'm going to enjoy those donuts. I'm going to be like, I shouldn't be having this.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, the Chicago Blackhawks, because of the Minnesota Wild losing, do not have a first round pick. They traded their own for Seth Jones's.
Oh, no.
And the first round pick that Minnesota gave them was conditional. Because Minnesota doesn't advance, it's a second.
Wow.
Oh, good move by Guerin, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm man, we won't get into it now, but the Minnesota Wild are a very interesting offseason story.
Kevin Fiala didn't show up in the playoffs. He had an unbelievable regular season, and he didn't show up at all in the playoffs in this series. And now he needs a new contract. And what do you give him? They don't have the cap space to give him anything he'd get on the free market.
I'm telling you, Fiala's going to be in Philly.
Yeah.
Fiala?
Yeah.
Oh, Chuck Fletcher.
Well, Fenton was the one that brought him in, but Fletcher would know him pretty damn well, I think.
That's an interesting theory, Adam.
Because Fenton and Fletcher were pretty tight, I think. And
I don't remember.
Anyway, long story short, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, Nazem Kadri." I have a feeling Nazem Kadri wants to win games, and he can look at the Flyers.
Kadri and Fiala.
Whoa. Actually, it'd be way better than what they got. Now we do know who the Hart Trophy nominees are: Matthews, McDavid, Shesterkin. Obviously, definitely, there's some teams around the league that feel like their best players were left off that.
You know how much I hated not having fans in the building? They announced yesterday that Matthews was nominated for the Hart.
Yep.
For the second straight year.
Oh. He was nominated last year?
That was my question.
I had no idea.
Wow,
I didn't know that. And then obviously the Ted Lindsay finalists were just announced today. This is the NHLPA, so the players voting on this. Yossi, Matthews, McDavid.
I'm telling you, I think McDavid's going to win that one.
The Lindsay?
I think the players are going to vote him best.
Yeah.
I think Matthews will win the Hart, but I think they're going to vote.
I think based on the Ted Lindsay Award is literally the best player award, according to the players, right?
Yeah.
I think McDavid should, it's hard for him not to win that. Matthews is best player or is most valuable player to their team.
I got such a problem with that. I think it's the same damn award.
Dude, so Jesse has the Hart voting up from last year. Matthews was not just second in Hart voting, he was second by a extraordinarily wide margin. McDavid got 100.
Yeah, McDavid was unanimously selected as the MVP. He received 100% of the votes.
But Matthews got 69 second place votes. Nice. 19 third, 6 fourth, and 4 fifth. This dude was the second best player in the National Hockey League last year. And I don't even remember that he was nominated.
Fourth in Hart Trophy voting, Sidney Crosby last year.
Yeah, he's not disrespected in NHL circles. But remember last year, McDavid had that. He had 105 points in 56 games. That's so stupid.
Austin had 66.
Yeah.
That's not what?
They're not even in the same
Oh my
galaxy.
God.
Dude,
That's crazy.
Draisaitl had 84. They're on the same team. That's so dumb. That the reason we don't remember Austin Matthews was nominated for the Hart is because
It didn't matter.
It did not matter who was nominated for the Hart. It was
You know,
Connor McDavid.
105 points.
Isn't that?
I forgot.
That's all we do.
Mhm.
And I did, and he finished second for MVP, and I didn't remember.
I had no idea. I can tell you that.
No idea.
I can guarantee you that in my malaise after the Leafs Habs series, I don't remember much.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't remember much.
If you pointed a gun at me before I read that, and you were like, "Steve, name the 3 Hart nominees from last year," I'd
I'd be dead. Be
Yeah.
shot.
I'd
Be shot. So yeah, we'll find out more and more as it goes on. It would really nice. You know, it'd be really nice if they just announced it. Do we need an NHL award show anymore?
No.
So the NBA has moved to, we just kind of announce it as we go through the playoffs.
Yeah.
So like they announce Joker as the league MVP just like in an Instagram post, and then they delivered him the trophy in Serbia, which is kind of cool. But like they're not even the NBA players aren't even around if they're eliminated from the playoffs. They're not going to an award show. So I think the NHL could kind of move away from this big award show thing.
Here's the thing with award shows. The Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, all the other award shows, I think all of them in the last 10 years have seen not just a little drop, but a precipitous drop in viewership. So if I can't get somebody to watch the best movies and the best music, the fuck are we watching the NHL awards? Who are you going to get to watch that? And so like you just can't compete. And I think the only reason people watch the MTV awards still, even though that's falling off a lot, is because it's entertaining, and the ESPYs because it's entertaining.
I stopped watching the Oscars because after a few years, I was just like, I haven't seen any of these movies.
Yeah. I also don't care. Like, it's like, did I like the movie or not? I don't care that some blind academy voted on. What do I care about that?
Dude, I saw Will Smith slap Chris Rock, and I went, let's go to Twitter. I didn't turn that on.
No.
They didn't get me.
I found out on Twitter.
I found out on Twitter. You know why? Because Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
And then 20 minutes later, he got a standing O.
Imagine like LeBron James slapped Chris Bayless at the NBA Awards. That's
Skip
the
Bayless.
only
Skip
thing.
Bayless. Yeah, Skip Bayless.
What did I say?
It's Chris Bayless.
Chris Bayless.
Although I like Chris Bayless.
Did I say Chris
Yeah,
Bayless?
you did. Chris
Oh my
Rock.
God. Apparently, we need to wrap up the show.
We do. Now, do we want to do a press conference today?
We have something really fun.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll hit the button.
Hey, get all your NHL playoff action at Sports Interaction. If you're looking for action and interaction and sports interaction.
It's in the name.
Exactly. Before the game starts, live and in play, or, betting on how your favorite player will perform. Canada plays at SIA, doing it right since 1997.
1997.
1997.
Sorry, I get the read too.
Okay, with the most competitive odds, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head over to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's right, we have a new landing page. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, play responsibly. Guys, clients demand instant responses.
They do.
Now more than ever. But businesses are spread thin. And if you're losing leads from visits to your website or missing calls that could grow your business, you might want to check out Smith AI. Okay? Check this out. Smith AI is not your average receptionist service. Since 2015, they've combined the best receptionists across North America with AI technology for superior business communications and customer engagement. And here's the thing. Their friendly and professional agents will help you screen calls, get you the leads you need, complete criteria, and actually schedule appointments in your calendar.
Whoa.
You didn't need to hit the table like that. But you're so passionate.
No. Subwoofer guys.
Sorry.
So mad.
Smith AI. Work uninterrupted. Run your business with less stress and get more leads from marketing efforts. Smith AI pays for itself. And listeners will save $100 when you sign up using our promo code SDP at smith.ai. Visit smith.ai for a 5-star review. You can read all the reviews that are there. Be sure to use the code SDP. Again, it's SDP to save $100 at sign up. Don't let another day go by. Try Smith AI.
How do you spell the code?
SDP.
Ah.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Whether you're just a Leafs fan or you need therapy, BetterHelp is the place for you. Now, listen, I make a joke, but all of us on this show have been to therapy, have found it immensely useful. But the thing is, a lot of things, what holds people back from going to therapy is sometimes you don't want to do in person. Sometimes it's the cost.
You're embarrassed that a hockey team is sending you
to therapy. Maybe
but
it's
then you
that
discover
too.
it's maybe not the hockey team and it's something else you got going.
100%, right? Sometimes it's a symptom, maybe not the problem, as my therapist would say. Wow. So let's talk about BetterHelp, because you can chat live, you can do video sessions, but you don't have to. That's the great thing. I love the chat feature because not everybody's comfortable talking, and sometimes you get it out better when you write it. And this is what's so great about BetterHelp. So listen, check out BetterHelp. If you're feeling a little stressed, if you're feeling like you need someone to talk to, it's a tune-up for your mind. It's like working out, but for your brain, and it does actually work, and we all can attest to that. Much more affordable than in-person therapy as well. You get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours, so it's quick. And this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Steve Dangle podcast listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/SDP. Hit the button.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
So the NFL is on a different stratosphere than every other league in North America.
Why?
And when they release their schedule for next season, it's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge event across the National Football League for teams to release their schedule.
Just a schedule, eh?
And all the league Twitter accounts, all 32 teams, they do fun things when they have their schedule announcements, because all the fans go crazy. They're like, who are we going to play over the 17 weeks? The LA Chargers, who play in a stadium that they don't own, that another team plays in, that they own it, and the LA Chargers are tenants in it, in LA.
Totally.
It's a thing. They won the schedule release Twitter moment yesterday.
I don't even understand what I'm looking for.
So for the LA Chargers schedule release video on their Twitter account, they said, should we make our schedule release video anime?
Yo.
Yes. Yes, we should.
Glasses on.
So I want you guys to watch the schedule release video.
Oh my God.
Of the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm just going to get it on the screen here. If you give me 1 second.
Maybe we should just take us off the screen and just put it up full screen.
Yeah, we'll I'll switch back and forth. It's all good. Here we go. Their schedule release video.
Oh my God.
I'm already in.
Anime music. The best.
Just awesome. Awesome social media account.
Oh my God.
Was that Jared Goff?
No.
No, Goff's not there anymore.
That's
he's
Justin
not?
Herbert.
Oh, I don't know football.
And that was right. It's a Rams.
So if you guys could narrate the video for everybody
There's
listening.
a pirate ship. Someone's wearing spikes. There's
because
an eye patch.
they're playing the Raiders.
There's Megazords.
Week 2, they play the Chiefs.
Week 3, it's the Panthers.
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
That is King from Tekken, I think.
Week 4, Texans. Oh.
The Browns. They redacted on advice of our lawyers.
Why did they do that?
I don't get that.
Because what are you gonna? Because they probably looked at making this video and go, how do we have the Browns?
How do we anime the Browns?
Yeah,
I don't know.
other than poo, which is what they play like.
Oh, there's a Waffle House.
This is
There's
crazy.
bears. Dude, this is chaos. How the frig do you narrate this? Mahomes mech?
Wow. Are they any good?
The Chargers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be
They're gonna be better.
now.
they're going to be a really good team. They were good last year.
Yeah, pirate ship again. But they
Thrown in
threw
the
the
garbage.
trash. The dolphin.
They're riding a dolphin.
Anime style, though.
This
The
is kind
Titans.
of this took a lot of time to do.
Oh, my God. It's a whole episode.
This is not cheap to produce this, by the way.
There's a Colts
The
merry-go-round. Oh, we always look at doing animated stuff, and they're always like, yeah, that'll be $1 million.
Russell Wilson, the new Broncos.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Russell Wilson's Broncos.
I hope Sierra likes
Oh,
Denver.
here we go. Oh, powering up.
There's
Wow.
There's the schedule.
I think they say it takes a week for an animator to do like 5 seconds. It's crazy.
Depending on the style.
I don't know how they must have known about the schedule for a while because that's a long video.
Oh, yeah. That's,
You know,
they
like,
must have gotten
that was-
heads up.
That's a 2-minute video.
Well, I mean, NFL, like, as a hockey fan, whenever I read about NFL budgets, I just laugh.
Oh, it's crazy.
Because, yeah.
I mean, they got like 60 players on the roster too.
Can we do a 2-minute schedule release video for? It's just for a social post. Yeah, our budget for that is $50 million. Like, I made that number up. It's probably
more
than that.
Probably more. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, that was that. I love that,
69.
Jesse.
I thought it was just really cool, and I want to shout out their social team. For
Yeah.
thinking of something.
Well done.
Like that.
Well
That's-
done. Yeah.
If they animate their
It'd be so.
schedule.
It would be great if I do think like the Leafs. I understand the voice that their social media goes with, but it's so boring. It'd be nice if they had fun at anything. The only time they have a little fun is like when you got a cool kid on and he's doing kid stuff.
The Leafs social media voice is the voice in the building, which is we're just here to entertain clients. How's everyone? You have
Is
a
that
good
right?
time? Do you have everything you need? Go Leafs. How's it? Can I get you a drink, sandwich? Go Leafs.
That's what it is.
Hope you're having a pleasant time.
Go Leafs.
How's the kids? Go Leafs.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so that's it for today. Obviously, we will be back Monday. CJ show out yesterday. Don't forget Agent Provocateur as well, because obviously we've got an episode out with Scott Morrison about the 72 series, which I think that will pick up more as the summer goes on as well. Like I think you see a lot of 1972 stuff happening this summer because it's the 50th anniversary. And obviously our Game Over crew. I just want to say a little shout out to everybody that's doing Game Over because it's not easy. And especially I want to give a shout out to Rahaf.
Poor Rahaf.
Who has not gotten one Leafs win.
But that's
Game
just
Over
how
Toronto.
it's worked. The Leafs have won all the odd games and lost all the evens, and she's been doing the evens.
And a heartbreaker
Which is
last
good
night.
for Game 7.
It is. So anyway, fingers crossed. So we will.
She's been doing a great job.
Are you
Thanks to
going
Liz
to
for
talk
going
about all the shows that came out?
Oh, and
Jesse Blake Sports Report.
Jesse Blake Sports Report.
No, talk about all the shows that were out this week, and mine doesn't exist.
Never heard of it. Jesse Blake Sports Report. A big episode on Formula One. If you're a big Formula One fan,
We had Tim Haraney from the TSN. Cover your ears, Steve. Cover them. From the TSN Racing Pod.
Ah,
shit.
I'm wearing headphones. It didn't work.
You just heard
I heard it harder.
TSN.
Ah!
Sports Center.
Ah!
Number one, the world leader in sport. No, I don't
See,
know.
that was so bad it didn't
Canadian
hurt me.
leader.
What's their?
I think they
Toronto's number one.
both companies claim to be number one. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I don't know who's number one. And really, if you're not number one, at least you're number two. It's not bad. It's not bad.
You're number 2.
You're number 2.
This poopy.
Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate that. Okay.
You're shit.
Let's. Anyway, that's it for us. I don't have anything else to add. I'm just gassed.
I do. Believe! Leafs in 7.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.